Warning, this podcast contains violence, sexuality, gore, and other horrible and disturbing things. Listener discretion is advised. Also, the hosts of this venture are ignorant dipshits, so please do not take anything they say as fact. And enjoy the show.
Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
Today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be.
The atoms in your left hand probably came from a different star than your right hand.
It is our basic human right to be fucked up.
A second plane now has crashed into the other tower of the World Trade Center.
Putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
The defendant shall be incarcerated for the rest of her natural life with no possibility of parole.
You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men.
We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
Occultae Veritatis.
Hello, welcome once again to Occultae Veritatis. Could be Ood's last Occultae Veritatis. I'm Ood Gallifrey.
Sage Murray.
Leon Filger.
Atrophonian.
And because Mom said that you had to let me play, you have Richard Bigley.
Now, Atrophonian was on with us the last episode, but we're going to get him to stay on for the What's Your Poison section because he was nice enough to bring us a poison to drink.
Yeah, he brought us beer.
You were nice enough to have me, so.
Yeah, so before we dive into homeopathy, these four are going to enjoy beer and I'm going to enjoy bullshit. Tune in.
So, what's your poison?
Open mind. I can't do it.
Alrighty, would you like to introduce your beer? I'll do my part last.
Sure. So this is a Trappist beer. So it's from a place where you need to actually have a qualification in order to make officially. And this was aged for 10 years. It's the Trappist Rochefort 10. It's really nice. I love it. It's spicy. It's flavorful.
Thank you.
If you manage to find a bottle of the 8, try it and compare it.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, you're not.
Yep.
Ood's eating poison.
Yep.
All right.
Do take care with it. It is over 11%.
Oh, wow.
You can't tell me what to do. This is good. That goes down real smooth.
I don't like it.
I'll drink yours.
You
that's heavy.
shouldn't.
Well, it is, but it's lovely and it's spicy. Like flavorful spicy.
It kind of burns going down your throat.
That's a
good.
very
That's
interesting
a-
experience. I don't think I've ever had that in my mouth before.
I've never tried a beer like this before.
You know what? I actually think I don't dislike it. It's just very different, like Judaism.
It was from Quebec?
No, it's actually bottled in Belgium.
Oh.
It says right here, Belgium.
Belgium. Why were I was just reading about Quebec? Agent QuebecBeer.info.
I think that's the importer.
I think, shut up.
And honestly, I really get enjoyment out of this just because it's the work of holy monks. They think that this is God's work. Yes.
Okay, that's nice.
Damn straight. Holy fuck. My face is buzzing. Jesus, there's a lot of liquor in that. How much is in this?
11%.
11.3% alcohol. That's absurd.
It's a strong beer.
That's a very strong beer.
It's got like this nice, subtle sweetness to it, though. Like
it is sweet.
That molassesy sort of thing.
I like it. Like, I couldn't drink a lot of it. Like, I'll drink this whole bottle because that's how I do. But I couldn't have more than one, I don't think.
I'm glad mine wasn't the first of the night now.
I couldn't drink more than one in one sitting. I don't think I'm going to finish it as delicious and it's burning my lungs as it is. This is really good and weird.
Yeah, it's really good and weird.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing it. Like, this is really exciting. I've never had anything like this. Most of my beers are cheap and shitty.
Most of the beers are cheap and fridge beer.
Fridge beer. That's normally what I bring, except for now we have the credit card and I just let Daniel pick my poisons.
Now, the new batch of poisons for the next few episodes have already been bought.
But that sounded like you were chewing some poison there.
Oh yeah, what you got a fucking pill on your chest hair there, buddy?
Oh, I was saving it for later. That was gonna be my dessert pill. Yeah, so what I've been doing over here while these guys are enjoying apparently a very good beer is I've been slowly chewing and swallowing 100 sleeping pills. Now, I chose an amount. I did the math. I went to a conversion. I consulted a pharmacist, and I had to very, 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 very carefully ask, how many sleeping pills would it take to kill a guy my size? And I wanted to take a lethal dose of sleeping pills. Now, if these were real sleeping pills, in 15 minutes I would be experiencing acute symptoms, such as shivers, dizziness, headache, and irritability and drowsiness.
Followed by central nervous system depression, coma, and death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, in 30 minutes, when it takes full effect, that's when the major symptoms would start. That's when the lizard brain would start to depress and shut down to a point where my breathing and heart rate wouldn't happen anymore. Yeah, and as Leon said, the central nervous system would break down and I will die. So there's at least 2 phones on the table. Can somebody set a timer for 15 minutes and a timer for 30 minutes?
What do you got? Do you got both, or do you want me to do one?
I've got 15, and I've got a half an hour.
Okay, cool.
Now, I'm not doing this originally. James Randi is the man that came up with this trick, and he took it around the country for a long, long time. Or at least he made it popular. I don't know if he originally did it. And he would go around and he would chew a lethal amount of sleeping pills every night, touring the country for days and weeks on end, and he just refused to die. And this is because they were homeopathic sleeping pills. Now, I'm going to explain to you by the end of this episode why these things didn't kill me and why I'm not even fucking tired. Now,
you gotta try this beer, though.
Okay, I'll try the beer.
It's really good.
It's really interesting.
To those listening at home, do not mix beer with sleeping pills.
Unless they're homeopathic.
Unless they're homeopathic sleeping pills.
Also,
that is wonderful and strange.
Yeah.
That's like almost caramelly.
You know what it tastes like to me? Is Dungeons and Dragons. Because a lot of people enjoy it. I've never fucking done it, but when I get my feet a little bit wet, you know what? I can see how people would like that.
Mm-hmm. You know, I run a game every Sunday. If you ever want to jump in and be an NPC, my party collects NPCs like fucking coins.
At 11.3%, I think I'll just dip my feet in the pool.
Now, in real time, these timers are probably going to go off longer or shorter than you think, but
you're a minute and 15 seconds in.
Okay, but so yeah, it might not be 15 minutes once this is all edited, but in real time, when the timers go off, it would have been 15 and 30 minutes real time for us.
Yep.
I'm taking too long because these pills take fucking forever to chew because they're dry.
Just down them with some beer.
Other advice: do not mix sleeping pills and laxatives. That was a messy night.
Yeah, I found out that the hard way. I'm not sure if I've told this story.
Yeah, I've heard
Have
it.
I?
Yeah.
I heard man that go to sleep with itchy bum wake up with smelly finger.
It was worse than that. Yeah, no, it took sleeping pills and laxatives and woke up in a bed full of shit.
Oh, God.
It wasn't even his.
Was it yours?
That's called I dub it a brown nap.
Brown nap. Leon had a brown nap.
It was a bad nap. Because I went to the fucking pet store to get that shit you put when your dog shits on the bed, because there's no human equivalent of that. So I'm dumping like dog shit remover all over my mattress. Anyway.
What do you guys rate your beer?
Weird and wonderful out of a world of pure imagination.
I'm going to give it a Dungeons and Dragons out of 3 Pokemon Goes and one other thing that I never really caught on to.
Doctor Who!
Out of Pogs.
Out of Pogs.
Okay, that works.
I would constantly put this at a hallelujah out of 10.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know. I'd say probably about a 6. It's one of those, I think, it's a little bit shocking at first, but if I was able to sustain a continuous ingestion of it, I think it would probably start growing on me.
You know what? It tasted like chalk and sugar. And I wash it down with homeopathic coffee, which tastes an awful lot like water. And 0 out of 10. Yeah,
0 out of 10 for yours.
Yeah, that beer was delicious. I wish I could have more.
I'm going to explain to you actually how it works. Now, has everybody had chemistry like in school way back when? Okay, but you do know what H2O is. Okay, and have all of you heard of Einstein? Okay, now you know that when light is energy, right? Okay, and he gave us the theory that energy equals mass times the speed of light. E equals mc squared. Okay, now if you take that formula and we think there's a lot of mass, right? Okay, if you collapsed all the mass down into the universe, so there was no space between the mass. Do you know how much mass there is in the entire universe? You think you're a lot of mass, right? I'm a lot of mass. right? This building is... Okay. Well, the whole universal mass can be consolidated down into the size of a bowling ball. That's all there is in the whole world and the universe. So how much mass are you?
Not much.
That's right, an infinitesimal amount. So if you took that formula, E equals mc squared, you can almost cross out mass. So the formula ends up being energy equals the speed of light. Okay? And that's why the vision system is so important, because we have lots of photoreceptors that receive light. But when Hahnemann died, the scientist didn't fall in his camp. Okay? And the pieces of the puzzle didn't fit well together. So God, in his infinite wisdom, sent him another Einstein called Stephen Hawking. Okay, Stephen Hawking gave us the string theory. And what he discovered is that there are other energetic particles in the universe, and they're shaped like little U's. And what they do is they work by vibration. So our body is so wonderfully designed. We have light receivers, and we have ears, string, vibratory. They pick up vibration. So if you added to that theory, Einstein's theory of relativity, we have E equals mc squared, but mass is crossed out almost, and strings, vibration. But that still doesn't tell us the whole picture, because what is a cell, right? Okay, so a cell has cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm. Is that mass? Not very much, really, right? So what is that? You can break down the cells into tiny pieces of energy called electrons, protons, neutrons, right? Okay, so the whole body has an infinitesimal amount of mass, but what is the remainder? Energy. So I am energy, you are energy. Okay, now if you go to study physics, energy cannot be created. We do not know how to create energy. But we don't know how to destroy it either. That is not humanly possible. So what we do is we take energy and we transform it from one state to another. That's all we do. So if that's all we do, guess what the definition of disease is? It's not mass. We have transformed our energy state into something different. That's what the definition of disease is. Okay? So we should be able to retransform our energy into a previous better state, right? And what we do is we use light, we can use sound, we can use homeopathy. Okay, so what is homeopathy? Okay, if nothing is really mass or an infinitesimal amount of it, and everything is energy, that means everything has a vibration to it. Okay, so what if I could encase some sort of energy for later use? Okay, so if I wanted to make a bomb, and I took all these chemicals and I encased it in a bomb, and tonight my neighbor lets his dog poop in my yard, literally. Okay, and I'm mad at that dog and my neighbor. So I'm going to take this bomb and I'm going to get back at him. So what if I threw that bomb at his house? Would he be happy with me? Because what happens now when that energy is released? It destroys something, right? Or changes it. It makes the building now not in structure form. It changes its energetic state. Well, that's what we can do with homeopathy. We take substances, and what we do is we pulverize them, and we put them in solution, and we succuss it just like the bomb. We threw the bomb to release its energy into this liquid, and then we take these little white pellets, we sprinkle them with that solution, and guess what we have just made? An energetic substance to be used when we choose to use it.
Once again, I invited Declan the Wizard back because he might actually know what he's talking about instead of me just half-assed knowing what I'm talking about. And once again, I am taking on pseudoscience and punching above my weight class with my 0 degrees and anything. So, yeah, let's do this.
And just for a contrast, just to
let the listeners know, I was the gentleman on the forensic science.
Oh, yes.
I have my master's in chemistry, and I do research for a living. That's my job, trying to cure Alzheimer's at the moment.
Well, la-di fucking da.
La-di fucking da. No, I just mean to lend credibility to the...
He's from Big Pharma.
Yeah, Big Pharma, totally.
He's from medium at best pharma.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 9 people, so we're not big.
Little pharma.
He's like an oligarchy. Big Pharma oligarchy.
It's Mon Pop Pharma.
9 people.
9 people.
Yeah, so homeopathy is a pseudoscience based on encouraging the body to correct itself by giving it a small dose of something to fight against. Otherwise known as like cures light. Now, I'll go way more into that concept as we go on, but first let's dive into the history of homeopathy.
It's stupid.
So
I hate
just in that phrase, I just want the listeners to know, just in that phrase, Declan's head is exploding.
Oh, yeah?
Right now. Oh,
yeah.
my God. Like doesn't care like. You guys are fucking morons.
So, this is according to homeopaths. Now, homeopaths kind of co-opted this, and it could be just, it's early philosophers talking about medicines and stuff like that, and they kind of quote mine to find homeopathic-like things. So, something they found is around 400 BC, Hippocrates, where the Hippocratic Oath comes from, he prescribed a small dose of mandrake root to treat mania because he knows large doses causes mania. So they said that counts as homeopathy because he's using something that causes mania to treat mania.
But does it? Is it?
I mean,
it's not really diluted. It's just like a little teeny weeny. Like it's like microdosing mushrooms.
Oh yeah, and
for depression or whatever.
Early homeopathy didn't have the reducing stuff, so arguably it was a little more legitimate back then because there was an active ingredient.
Right.
Yeah, the next one that is arguably part of one of the ancient people that supposedly used homeopathy was Paracelsus, he was an early chemist, toxicologist, and he was known as the father of pharmacology. And in one of his books, he wrote, "What makes a man ill may also cure him." And they count that as homeopathy. Those are the two prehistory, before homeopathy, that they mostly gravitate to. Now, the birth of Samuel Hahnemann in 1755 comes with the guy who actually named homeopathy. He's known as the father of homeopathy. And it all began when he translated a book from a Scottish physician known as William Cullen.
Physician or magician?
Oh, physician.
Just like, physician.
Physician.
Thanks.
Doctor.
Just to be clear, doctor in the 1770s.
Yeah.
Right? Correct?
Oh, yes.
Got ghosts in your blood. Do cocaine about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that later. One of the reasons that homeopathy kind of worked back then is because doing no harm was better than being treated with early medicine sometimes back then. But anyways, he translated a book from a Scottish doctor in the 1700s named William Cullen. He was treating malaria with Peruvian bark.
Oh.
When Samuel Hahnemann tried it, he found that it produced malaria-like effects when ingested. So nausea, chills, fever, shakes, all that stuff.
Did you know that willow bark is a natural source of acetaminophen?
I did.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Hello, I'm Randall Whitefeather, and this is my brother, Richard Lone Wolf. Today we're along the Kern River doing a little gathering. My brother is here with some red willow, and he'd like to talk to you about it. So, listen in.
Yes, this is red willow. For hundreds of years, Native American peoples, we've used this bark in ceremonies. It's called in Lakota, chanchasha. What's good about red willow is it makes great fish traps, shelters, bedding material. The bark can be used as cordage in an emergency survival situation. You just peel some bark off. I tie these into bundles, lay them on the ground, as long as my body, and I can make a fast emergency bed. What's also good about willow is you take the bark, steep it in hot water for about 10 to 15 minutes, and I have a pain reliever. It contains salicylic acid, which is the compound in common aspirin. Several plants contain salicylic acid, such as yuccas, willows, aspen trees. So Native Americans, we had aspirin before it was even popular in modern times. So it's a very useful plant for fish traps, basketry, shelters, bedding materials, and so on and so forth.
Well, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I guess back then painkiller.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a now then
It's a now then pain, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he tried this and he ingested it, and because he found that he could bring about the same symptoms of malaria, and this guy was treating people with malaria, he came up with a thing called like cures like. And he thought that if you traumatize the body with something that mimics whatever ails you, so if you cause chills and malaria-like symptoms, it will encourage the body to fight against them, like it's giving it a spirit to fight against. This has mostly been shown to be imaginary, but yeah. He named it in his language Similia Sambulius Centario, which means like cures like. Oh, and also in 1861, a doctor named Wendell Holmes repeated the bark experiments and found that they did not, in fact, treat malaria. So even that part has no ground to stand on. So he took this philosophy and he started treating his clients with it, and he named it homeopathy, coming from homeos, which means like, and pathos, which means suffering, so like suffering. In 1805, he started publishing these books of provings. Now, these provings are basically where he took 10 to 20 of his acquaintances, he gave them something to eat, and he had them take a large dose of it for 3 to 30 days and write down all symptoms and changes that are happening. Some findings that he found from this is onion causes itchy eyes.
No!
Belladonna causes fever. Bee venom causes pain.
Belladonna will also fucking kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Just FYI.
And coffee will awaken and provide energy.
You never would have thought. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. So he started, in 1810, he wrote the Oregon of the Healing Art, and he published all these findings in the form of homeopathy. Now, the 1805 thing had them eating the herbs whole, and had them eating them in solid pieces, and he saw that when you eat whole parts of belladonna, and you eat onions, and you drink bee venom, like, it's not all that healthy. Sometimes...
Surprise!
Yeah. Sometimes the side effects from eating things. So in the 1810 book, he found that reducing the dosage of the active ingredient made the results grow. And he came up with a theory that the more you reduced them, the more powerful they became. So there's two types that he came up with. There's the X measurement, and then there's the C measurement. So for the X measurement, that means he took one part of the remedy, and he mixed it with 9 parts of an alcohol-water mixture. So 1 to 9. And then a 1C mixture would be 1 part remedy to 99 parts alcohol and water mixed together. So already at step 1, you're at 10% and 1%. So that is what's called the mother tincture, where you take a whole plant or substance and you grind it up, and then you make it 1 part that and 9 parts alcohol water for X, and 1 part that, 99 parts water alcohol for C. Then you start diluting it. And dilution is the repeated steps of dilution and then succussion. Now, people ask, like, how does the water remember what was in it? Now, the homeopaths claim that you need to succus the water, which means you bang it on the table a certain amount of times, or you shake it a certain amount of times, and they say that preserves the memory of whatever's in the water, and they say it's like tossing a rock into a pond, and the ripples are the vibrations that the waters remember.
There's so much bullshit in that.
Oh, yeah.
I researched neurological diseases.
Yeah.
So that's, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm having an aneurysm.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that. None of us are doctors.
Yeah, and nothing can convince them otherwise. Like, they'll go straight to, but it works. But there's no active ingredient, but it works. Just to give you an idea of how diluted these things are. So this is from his original book. So this is called a low potency combination. So this is like the coffee I drank.
Which was water.
This is like the homeopathic coffee I drank. Now, this is a 5C or 10X mixture, which means it's been diluted 5 times for going into 100 parts of water, and it's diluted 10 times for going into 9 parts water. So all that math means that there is so much product to find 1 molecule of the original substance. So say you were taking an original substance, like if you wanted to find 1 molecule of the original active ingredient for a low potency 10X mixture, you would need an Olympic swimming pool worth of water.
Oh my God.
600,000 gallons.
It's too much water.
Now you bump it up to a medium potency homeopathy mix. That's a 10C or a 20X mixture.
What did you take?
I think mine is like 4x and 5x, so it's actually pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, comparably. But all the stuff that's in there is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it's 3x and 4x.
Yeah. Yeah, so I might even die harder. No, I guess technically...
die harder with a vengeance.
Oh, yeah. Technically, I took really weak homeopathic sleeping pills because they have more active ingredient than most.
Yeah.
So a medium potency with 20x, to find one molecule, you would have to use all fresh and salt water on the planet.
Oh my god.
To find one molecule.
On the plus side, when you run out of your homeopathy medication here, you can use what's left to mix up another batch if you add a couple more gallons of water to it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of powder at the bottom
And
here.
it becomes more powerful as I go on.
And then it becomes more powerful, exactly.
Yeah. And also...
Do you hear how stupid that sounds?
Yeah. So at 13C or 26X, that's the mathematical almost guarantee that there's no active ingredient left, because you would have to use all the water in the known universe to find one molecule of the original substance. Now, the recommended homeopathic concentration is 30C or 60X. So this is the concentration of most homeopathic medicines. So, once again, to find one molecule, you'll need to take 10 billion people. You feed them one pill per second for 800 trillion years, and you will eventually find one molecule of the substance.
That's not a lot of molecules, dude.
Oh, I know.
No.
And here's where the most high dose thing I could do, which is an influenza flu vaccine, a homeopathic flu vaccine.
15 minutes.
Okay.
Not dead yet?
15
not
minutes.
feeling sleepy?
The 15-minute alarm has went off. Don't feel sleepy. Don't feel nauseous. I don't have shakes. These fucking pills. What a ripoff. Okay. Yeah, so this is the highest concentration I could find, which is for a homeopathic flu vaccine. Its concentration is 200C or 400X. Okay, so I tried to do the math to see how I could find one molecule in this. Okay, so I take the same 10 billion people, and I take the same 800 trillion years. In order to find one molecule in that 800 trillion years, I would have to feed them 40 billion pills per second, which is quite a lot.
You really should have called me on these volumes, because I could have helped you do that very, very quickly.
Oh shit! I was just way too high doing math. It was.
Do we measure bullshit in millimoles per liter?
Millimoles. Yeah, thank you. That's a chemistry term. Thank you. Thank you, Leon.
Yeah.
See, I'm busy thinking about like the evil genius homeopathist who's plans to kill the planet by poisoning the oceans.
Can we also name osmotic pressure in millimeters of mercury?
Thank you. I like Leon.
He's sitting there.
Me
He's got
too.
like a little eyedropper of poison.
No, I'm taking
Right?
microbiology right now.
That's why we keep.
Cool. I can help you with that.
That's why we keep them around. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the School of Health in London went through all of Heinemann's provings and all of Heinemann's experiments throughout his entire career, and they did a meta-analysis of how good did he do designing these experiments.
Bad.
Yeah, he did very bad.
In my office, I have a picture of Samuel Hahnemann as an inspiration. He was the founder of homeopathy, and he was the quintessential genius. He was so smart and knew so many fields. He was a physician and a chemist and a pharmacist and a translator. He knew many languages. And he was a man who really just thought for himself. He didn't follow the trends of the time. And his mission was to find a better form of health care. And he has truly given the world a gift for those who seek it.
First off, he attributed every single symptom to the remedy. So no matter what symptom came up in his subjects, he ordered them to write it down, and he would chalk it up to whatever remedy they're taking.
I'm face palming so hard right now. Declan is face palming so
Oh
hard.
yes. Second, there was no control group. There was no group that didn't take the herb or the medicine. There was no blinding. He knew what they were taking, and they knew what they were taking. There was no exclusion of trivial or pre-existing symptoms. So even a trivial symptom like my toe got itchy, that would be written down. Or pre-existing symptoms from pre-existing disorders, those will get counted and written down. used well-known acquaintances and friends as subjects and talked with them during, before, and after the experiment the whole time. So there's lots of chances for bias and pressure. And this is the most shocking thing. In order to sign up for his experiments, you had to go on a health plan. So he said you had to get more sleep, more exercise, you had to eat a healthier diet, you had to drink less alcohol, you had to get more fresh air, you had to do no dangerous work, and you had to have good hygiene. And holy shit, after doing all that, his patients got better.
What?
So he attributed all of that to just his drug.
Correct.
Oh my God, this guy's terrible.
Oh, and also something that made his experiments unfeasible is whoever came into an experiment, he would make them quit all of their substances. So if they were on a medication or a herb or anything else, he would make them quit cold turkey. And sometimes the withdrawal effects or some of the effects from the lack of those things would go in, and those would be counted as the effects of whatever remedy he's getting them to eat.
Did he tell his patients to replace their pharmaceutical antidepressants with a walk in the woods? I've been told that, man. Take a fucking walk in the woods.
No,
you won't want to kill yourself
This
anymore.
was 1800, so it's
I
more
tried
like...
to hang myself in the fucking woods, you idiots.
I know.
Even in the 1800s, they knew better than that.
Oh, yeah.
Even in the 1800s.
Oh, yeah.
People are stupid and I don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 1800s, like, it was even more stigmatized. Yeah. So why did Hahnemann's work seem to help? And that was because 18th century medicine was rough. And 19th century medicine was rough. Germ theory was a thing. It was a thing in colleges and universities, but it hadn't quite trickled down to the doctors quite yet. So even though in universities in the late 1700s and 1800s, germ theory was a thing, the doctors weren't practicing it. They weren't washing hands. They weren't getting rid of germs. So they weren't practicing it. So germs were letting in there. And there was things like trepidation, bloodletting, and all those dangerous barbaric procedures.
Wasn't germ theory made popular in World War I? I thought that's where it really hit for triage and doctors.
Oh,
Am I being correct?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that's correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's when doctors actually started using it. Like
Yes.
yeah, microorganisms have been known for quite a while, but
True. Yeah, they just never made the connection. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
surgery had a 70% fatality rate in the year 1800, and birth had a 30% fatality rate. And also cocaine, mercury, heroin, ergot, which is fungus that produces hallucinations, and methamphetamine were commonly used as medicines. So you could tell that when Hahnemann took people in and started to treat them and gave them all those things, because all of his patients, he made them take up all those healthy living things before he would take them on as patients. So telling them to live healthily and them not having to subject themselves to 18th century medicine often had positive effects, regardless of what homeopathic medicine they were taking.
Yeah.
Plus, it was cheap. It was a popular medicine among the poor because you didn't need to buy very much active ingredients. And homeopaths got to take like an early status of victimhood because apothecaries and herbalists kept on running them out of town. Because if homeopathy took over a town, suddenly people only had to buy tiny, tiny bits of herbs in order to get themselves better. So there was all kinds of lobbying and stuff to get homeopathists run out of town. So they got to take on a victimhood status really early. Oh, and also they paid attention to you. So doctors didn't really have bedside manner in the 1800s, but Hahnemann had, even back then, a 2-hour interview procedure for every new patient. So you felt like you were paid attention to, you felt like you were cared for, you were given tips for healthier living, and you got away from 18th century medicine. And people ended up getting better. And it looked like homeopathy was doing it, instead of all those other factors. Yeah. In 1835, the first U.S. homeopathy school was opened by Hans Birch Graham, a student of Hahnemann. By 1900, there was 2,200 homeopathic colleges.
That's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Well, technically, homeopathy itself is not dangerous.
Yeah.
But eschewing actual solid medical advice or treatment in favor of homeopathy is very dangerous.
Yeah, Now, homeopathy had very early critics that called it out. And these are 3 quotes from people throughout history.
James Young Simpson said in 1853 of homeopathic drugs, quote, "No poison, however strong or powerful, the billionth or decillionth of which would in the least degree affect a man or harm a fly."
Ouch!
Oh, yeah.
So that's a valid point. As a chemist, I feel the need to interject a little bit of chemistry knowledge.
Oh yeah.
What makes a poison and toxin is actually dosage.
Okay.
The dose makes the poison.
The dose makes the poison. So everything's poisonous to a level.
Yeah.
You have too much water, you drown.
Oh yeah.
Everything's poisonous to a level. It's all about the dosage.
Yeah.
So I like that one. That was good.
Yeah.
Am I doing reading 3? Is that the one I'm doing?
Yeah.
You are, yeah.
Reading 3, and then we'll take a break from the readings for a bit.
19th century American physician and author, Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. was also a vocal critic of homeopathy, saying, "Homeopathy is the same as astrology, palmistry, and other methods of getting a living out of the weakness and cruelty of mankind and womankind." Credulity. Sorry, not cruelty.
Credulity. I'm a different kind of nerd.
That's okay. It's all good. I am terrible at English. But yeah, no, definitely I would agree. But it's also cruel. Like there's famous cases in Alberta, which I think you'll probably allude to later in Alberta, Canada, that I know people inside that ring and circle and stuff. And
oh, really?
Bad.
And there will be an episode on that.
Yeah. You should get me in for that because I know people who know the parents.
Consider yourself booked.
Smallpox is the most formidable and devastating disease in human history that has caused more death and suffering than any other human infectious disease.
You had about a 1 in 3 chance of catching it during your lifetime. Even if you survived, you weren't that lucky because you could be badly scarred. It killed the kings, queens, princes, princesses, tsars. Queen Mary I of England, her husband William II, Queen Mary II of England, Louis I of Spain, Louis XV of France, Chinese emperors. Pocahontas allegedly died of smallpox.
Variola is the virus that causes smallpox disease.
It's certainly one of the largest of the viruses we have. We can actually see it under a plain microscope.
Pox viruses have larger genomes. The genome, for example, HIV is only about 10 genes. Ebola is 7 genes. Smallpox is a couple of 100 genes.
The virus is a dumbbell wrapped with 2 membranes and then decorated with all these tubules sticking out of it like a porcupine.
Smallpox can only make humans sick. A lot of viruses that infect us can also infect certain other species. But with smallpox, we are its only host.
It's totally inert. It's just a capsule with 2 strands of DNA in it that can do nothing until they get into a cell. And then they commandeer that cell, and they make that cell produce more of them.
Smallpox can spread through very, very tiny, moist droplets that come out of the back of a person's mouth when they cough or speak. If you should inhale one of these droplets, that's enough to trigger an infection which could easily be fatal.
So homeopathy gained a huge amount of legitimacy from how it dealt with various plagues that hit humanity. So homeopathy was associated with treating cholera, smallpox, yellow fever, and typhus. And it was because that death rates in homeopathic hospitals were lower than in conventional hospitals for all the reasons I said before.
Right.
Because no care is safer back then than some care.
Than meth.
Yeah.
And cocaine.
Yeah. And them getting them away from contagious people and promoting a healthy lifestyle often had good results, so the death rates were lower. In the 18th and 19th century, up until the 20th and 21st century, homeopathy began to grow, and it exploded in the 1970s with the rise of the New Age movement.
Ugh.
Now, the New Age movement in the 70s basically shook off the coils of what they thought were conventional medicine, traditional medicine, Western medicine, scientifically based medicine, and they went with the simple thing that natural equals good, or antiquated equals good. Because
you know what else is natural? Being eaten by a bear.
Oh yeah,
and mole and snake venom.
Yeah,
yeah,
and the cold, deathless of space.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, all natural.
What have we got?
RTA, broken arm, suspected internal injuries, severe contusions to the head.
Going to move fast. Put me a solution of Arnica montana. Stat.
Strength?
1 part in a million.
I'm sure it looks serious.
You're right. We need to strengthen the dose. 1 part in 10 million.
On it, Doctor.
Here you go, cheeky one. Nothing we can't handle. Get me some wolfsbane, also known as monk's hood, in here. And a whole tray of flower remedies.
Oh, his chakras are fading. We need some crystals.
Nurse, fetch me some purple tinted quartz. You're right. Make that aquamarine quartz.
Good call.
Okay, he's stabilizing. Now, does anybody know what sort of car hit him?
The Blue Fort Mondeo, apparently.
Right, get me a bit of Blue Fort Mondeo, put it in water, shake it, dilute it, shake it again, dilute it again, do some more shaking, dilute it some more, then put 3 drops on his tongue. If that doesn't cure him, I don't know what will.
Yeah, and basically they started getting more and more powerful. So homeopaths started opening up more colleges and opening up more schools. Then they started opening up law offices in order to
What?
Oh yeah, in order to build lobbyists to pass laws that would allow homeopaths to sell pills without regulation and make claims that they really shouldn't be able to make. And of course, capitalism took hold. Pharmacy chains started selling homeopathic substances to the 70s, 80s, and 90s by the droves because people wanted them. And unfortunately, in the capitalistic system, even the pharmacies fall prey to that. So if there's a product that they can sell a lot of and make a good amount of money with, they'll sure as fuck sell it.
But let's not talk shit about the neti pot, because that clears my sinuses out real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, like the saline nasal mist. I shoot that shit up my nose all the time. That stuff totally works. And I take melatonin to sleep sometimes, and it kind of helps, maybe.
Well, melatonin has an active ingredient, and like getting hot water through your nose is going to clean up the sinuses. But
it feels great.
Oh yeah, but you're really just eating sugar and drinking water when you're taking a homeopathic substance, so it just does nothing at all.
I texted my friend who's a pharmacist. No, I found it.
Oh, you found it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I said, what's the most useless homeopathic sleeping pills? The ones most likely to not have any like weird herbs in them. And she said melatonin or valerian. And I was like, no, we want it not to work. We're doing a homeopathy is stupid episode.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, homeopathy is nothing. It's just water with whatever crap they put in it. It has no medicinal value whatsoever.
Yep.
Supposed to contain micro amounts of what would actually make you sick.
Yeah.
Because it's in micro amount, it will do the opposite. And she's like, so I texted her a picture of the pills that Ood just
Oh shit, we're at 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was gonna be my turn.
Okay, I'm not convulsing. I'm not dead. I'm still conscious. I'm still talking. These pills aren't working very well.
So yes, her statement of nothing in there will do anything seems to be holding up.
Because you ate 100 of those.
Yeah, I ate 100 of them.
And you
a
feel
whole
fuck
bottle.
all. Yeah.
Now, like I said, I did the math. If those were 110 milligram sleeping pills, that would be a lethal dose for me. I would be dead. I'd be dead right now because at 30 minutes the pills would take full effect. I'm not dead.
You're not dead, and you sound better now than when you were chewing the pills.
Holy shit! It must be the coffee,
homeopathic coffee.
Yeah. So that takes us to modern homeopathy. So today, homeopathy is the second biggest medical practice if you count the first being science-based medicine. So the only practice that has more hospitals than homeopathy is science-based medicine.
That's very sad.
I like to quote Chris Minchin.
Oh yeah.
Timothy Minchin.
Tim Minchin.
Oh, Tim Minchin. Thank you. Sorry, I like to quote Tim Minchin.
Yeah.
In this context because I love Tim Minchin and I love his comedy. And it's there's no such thing as Eastern medicine and Western medicine.
Yeah.
There's shit that works and shit that don't.
And try as I like, a small crack appears in my diplomacy dike. By definition, I begin, alternative medicine, I continue, has either not been proved to work or been proved not to work. Do you know what they call alternative medicine that's been proved to work? Medicine.
Yeah, pretty much. And this shit don't work.
Exactly.
Now, why is it working today? That's the question. Like back then, it worked because 18th century medicine was horseshit and was more harmful than often doing nothing.
Yeah.
Aside with homeopathy these days, is there's this concept of homeopathy being anti-establishment, like it's the little guy's medicine. But homeopathy last year made $18.6 billion across the world.
How much did you pay for this little tiny bottle?
$42.
$42?
Yep.
What?
You could buy melatonin for like 10.
Yeah.
Your Patreon dollars
Holy
at work,
shit.
people.
Oh, yes.
Fuck me.
Thank you, Patreon. I wouldn't be able to buy stupid bullshit if it wasn't for you.
$42.
By the way, my exclamation definitely got a lot of saliva on this mic. You probably want to clean this before next
Oh, it's all
recording.
good.
Just FYI.
We like to share here.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible.
How stupid are you?
And modern homeopathy. It's not my money. Yeah.
How stupid are
our money.
It's our money. Yeah. Modern homeopathy. So old homeopathy back in his day, they mostly used herbs and
$42.
Yeah, herbs and animal
I took
products.
this
These days, they use herbs, animal products, minerals. So they use metals, some non-metals on their compounds. Grossly enough, they use diseased products and tissues. So they treat
Ew.
cancer with cancer. They treat tumors with tumors. All that good stuff.
That would be very detrimental to health, I think.
Oh yes, good.
Well,
thing,
there
good-
wouldn't be any detriment because there's nothing in it.
Yeah,
Never mind.
That's why it doesn't bother me too much. There's healthy tissues or products, and sometimes they take healthy tissues from people because some branches of homeopathy completely ignore the like cures like, and they're like, hey, let's take some healthy heart muscle and feed them some healthy heart muscle, and then I don't know, they completely abandon it. And then there's imponderables, where they take certain energy sources such as magnetism, X-rays, and radiation, and they bathe the mother tincture with that energy, and then they separate that out.
What?
That's to treat radiation and the like.
So when you went to pay for the $42 little pills that do nothing, did you like take a glass of water and cut like a small section of your
Sorry,
bill?
to be clear, I do have a card that from my health provider that turns all medicine into $10 payments if it's over $10. So sorry, I paid $10 for that.
Oh, okay.
But it was on
But
the
it cost.
But it was on the shelf for $42.
Okay, get this shit.
Okay.
This is going to be really fun.
Okay.
Warnings: do not use if blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
In case of accidental overdose, which we know is bullshit.
Yeah.
Contact a poison control center. Yeah, they'd have a laugh with that.
Yeah. I overdosed on homeopathic pills.
Contact a medical practitioner or poison control center immediately. Highlands, which is the company that manufactures this shit, quote, may also be contacted for emergency information about our products 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Call them.
At
Yeah,
800.
call them.
Oh,
I'm calling them.
Yeah, let's put it on. Let's put it on the speakerphone.
Holy fuck, this is going to be great. This is going to be so good.
Well, we're doing that. So when you paid for it, did you like cut the corner off of the bill you used to buy that
Yeah.
with and put it in like a bit of water and say just it'll intensify?
This is like $1 billion.
Yeah, it's like $1 billion.
You
It's
owe me
homeopathic money.
$1,000 of
Yeah,
change.
you actually owe me change.
Homeopathic capitalism.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
I'm ready.
Hi, I bought your Calm sleep aid. Oh fuck.
24/7 emergency information team is available. Please listen carefully to the menu options. However, if this is a true
You able to turn that up?
You turn it up.
please hang up and contact your healthcare provider, go to the nearest emergency room, or call 911.
To speak with a Spanish representative, dial 1. Si desea hablar con un representante en español, por favor, oprima la tecla número 1 ahora.
To obtain information about expiration dates, dial 2. To leave a message to request a catalog, find a store near you, or to place your inquiry about an order, dial 3. If you have a more in-depth product question and would like one of our healthcare professionals to call you back, dial 4. To reach the beeper system of our 24/7 emergency information team, if you need emergency information about the use of one of our products, dial 5. If you're a practitioner and would like to reach
And we're dialing 5.
Okay.
Thank you for calling Highland. If this is a true medical emergency, please hang up and go to the nearest emergency
Oh, that's a cop out.
Yeah.
or contact your healthcare provider. Otherwise, if you need emergency information regarding one of our products, please leave your name, phone number, and a
Oh, pussied out.
and our 24/7 on-call healthcare professional will be paged to call you back promptly. If you're calling with a question about expiration dates,
You can do it.
be aware that our
We can just call Canadian Poison Control.
more information about Highland's products
Do I have to press a button to leave them a message?
I think so. What was it?
can be found at our website,
I think they're going to say it later.
Okay.
They didn't say it yet.
Yeah, we'll probably have to phone the Canadian Poison Control to get a live person.
Contact your healthcare provider.
I'm going to leave him a message.
Call 911. We care about the health and the health of your family. Thank you again for calling Highlands. Record your message at the tone.
There we go.
When you are finished,
You sound real scared.
press pound for more options.
Hello, my name is Leon Filger. My number is... My friend who just ate 100 tablets of your Calm Sleep aid about 15 minutes ago. I just want to make sure he's not going to die. Please give me a call back.
Already.
So I press the button just to
It comes up as Fuller Drugstore. That's the name.
Okay, let's hope they call us back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I kind of just want to like fill time.
If it's a real medical emergency,
Yeah.
call 911.
So
I bet no one ever calls 911.
Just to give some context to listeners and everyone though.
Yeah.
And I hate to do this because I absolutely believe homeopathy is bullshit as a scientist, and there's no ground for it and anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much every drug will have a 24-hour emergency line.
Yeah.
For their company.
Yeah.
But
it's an ass covering.
But it's an ass covering for legal purposes. But they actually have fucking people manning the phones. So there's the other difference they have
Oh, no
too.
kidding.
If you have a 24-hour, if you buy a Pfizer product, there's a line you can call.
Oh fuck yeah!
And usually what it is that hospitals will call that saying, "Hey, we just got someone admitted that took 200 pills of your product. This is a product. What are you?" And then a chemist actually talks to them or a pharmacist or something, right?
Yeah.
Just the only good thing I can say about homeopathy.
Yeah. If their emergency line has a call us back as a default, I mean,
They're obviously not super concerned.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And one of the things that put me at ease is on the frequently asked questions of the company's website, it says, "My child has just swallowed a whole bottle full of pills," and they have something like, "Highland products are very non-toxic and pure, so it won't probably hurt them, so no worries." And all
Yeah.
that.
No worries.
Yeah. So why does homeopathy today seem to work for people? And there are 4 different reasons. Number 1 is time. So the human body is a survival machine that can cure itself of most diseases. Most times when you get sick, if you wait a while, you're going to get better. Sometimes when you feel bad, you could go to a homeopath, get the homeopathic cure, and then you would feel better a few days later. Now, if you stayed at home and didn't take anything at all, you might feel better in the exact same amount of time. But people, because they took the homeopathic pill, they say that, oh, the homeopathic thing worked, instead of just time and allowing the body to work. So that misconception causes that a lot. Number 2 is the placebo effect. Now, the placebo effect is a 100% real effect that has been proven and observed. For example, people with a positive outlook have better survival rates for chronic conditions and fatal conditions. Pain levels fall if they have a positive outlook with the placebo effect. There's lots of different effects that can be observed and measured.
I'd like to chime in also with the thing. Just for listeners out there that might not know much about the pharmaceutical industry, the regulations surrounding new drugs actually have procedures and steps in the way to make sure a new drug is not a placebo effect, and there's control groups and there's stuff. So real science-based drugs, you would say, have safeguards against this. Just FYI, continue going. Sorry.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in studies they would do that by giving a control group like a sugar pill, and if the active group has the same measurement as the control group, it would be charted up to placebo, correct?
Exactly, yes. And there's a significance you have to reach, right?
Yeah.
So if there's no significant difference in the active group, then it's, anyway.
And homeopathy clinics are often very calming places, full of nice people that seem to want to help, that seem to care, so it can put you in a positive outlook.
Yep.
So sometimes as you leave, you can get that placebo effect in, especially since the care and attention you receive at homeopath clinics. Like, even today, the consultation for a new patient going into a homeopathic clinic is 2 to 5 hours. They have lists of hundreds of questions that they ask you, and they pay attention to you for hours on end. You might walk out of there feeling pretty damn good about your situation, like you've really been dealt with. And that can produce major placebo effect in people. Number 3 is encouraging healthy choices. The homeopathics today, just like Heinemann back when, they encourage healthy choices, sleep more, exercise, eat well, meditate, all that good stuff. If you tell people to make healthy choices in their life, their health is probably going to improve if they follow it.
You don't say.
Yeah. Number 4 is confirmation bias. All diseases, even serious diseases, even stuff like cancer, have good days and bad days, where some days you can feel better and some days you can feel worse. If you take a homeopathic substance.
Basically.
Yeah, I just Freudian slip. You might start counting the good days and missing the bad days. And because of your confirmation bias, you start to think that, I've had more good days on this homeopathic stuff than I have had bad days. And it especially becomes amplified if you spend a lot of money on it because of the sunk cost fallacy. The more money you spend on something, the more you believe it's legitimate and will work.
$42.
Yeah.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and number 5, the reason that a lot of people choose homeopathy, it's not really a reason that it works because it doesn't really work, but a reason that a lot of people choose it is because it's available for babies and pets.
Okay, I have a bone to pick with that.
I'm
That
ready.
pisses me off right off.
I'm ready.
Leon knows, you have a baby that's under the age of 3.
Yeah.
And he can't take anything.
Yeah.
But if you go into any drugstore, there's a homeopathic remedies.
There is, yeah.
And they're for 0 to infinity ages.
And it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. They have them right next to the children's Tylenol, the stuff that actually works, but you can't give your baby until they're 6 months old.
Yep. Yes.
And it 100% capitalizes the fears of parents of new babies.
And as someone with a 2-week-old baby, I am as afraid as a human being could possibly be right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so predatory and it's so unethical.
Yeah.
And pretty much every pharmacist that I've ever talked to is we hate having this stuff on the shelves, but we have to.
Yeah. And when I first went up to the pharmacy desk and asked about homeopathy, I saw
they were really?
Yeah, that micro expressions and all that. I saw that quarter second of oh fuck, another one of these guys. And fair enough. If I went to school for pharmacy for however many years and I had jerk off talking about homeopathy, I'd be like, oh fuck off,
Yeah, it's so unethical, and it just makes me real riled.
I applaud those pharmacists because I couldn't hold it. I work in a lab, so I don't have to deal with people.
Yeah.
I applaud those pharmacists. I couldn't hold it.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of people rely on it because homeopaths will readily tell you that it's perfectly safe for babies and pets because babies and pets aren't allergic to sugar and water.
Yeah, well, and you get on mommy groups, Facebook groups, and they're yeah, try the Highlands teething tablets or whatever.
It's been 45 minutes. You're not fucking dead.
No, I'm a fat guy, so maybe this is taking a bit longer. By the time we're finished the episode, I'm not dead.
To be fair,
Yeah.
even with the idea you have excess weight,
Yeah.
You should get those preliminary effects as well.
Yeah.
And you don't feel any of those. You're not dizzy.
No.
You're not. Yeah.
I'm not sleepy.
You're not sleepy. You're not dizzy.
A bit stoned, maybe, but that's
Yeah.
from something
Well,
else.
that's from the other stuff.
How long has it been since we reported our emergency situation?
Yeah, they clearly don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a minute,
point.
that's for
Yeah.
sure.
So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the harm. So the harm of homeopathy comes in many different things, and some of it is a little indirect, but it's still harm nonetheless. So number 1 is the use in children, which we just mentioned.
Yeah.
It's okay most of the time. It's safe most of the time because babies and pets aren't allergic to water and sugar, like I said. But when it gets dangerous is when parents choose to use it instead of conventional medicine.
Or when they put too much belladonna in it.
Yeah.
And that caused a lot of kids to get sick.
If you need to break a kid's fever in order to prevent damage, and you need real drugs in order to do that, homeopathic bullshit is not going to do anything. And according to statistics, we're a bit better than America, because 35% of children in Canada have taken homeopathic substances given by parents. And
Not my kid.
And my kid.
And 38% of Americans have given homeopathic drugs to their kids.
Ugh.
Number 2 is replacing vaccines.
Oh, God.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's on the
Elderberry syrup.
Yes.
Horseradish.
Just a little bit of colloidal silver will clear that right up. Don't worry about that.
/ turn you into a Smurf.
And
what is colloidal silver anyway? I don't even know. As a chemist, I'm like, what the fuck is that anyway?
It's
I don't even know.
silver. but
Made
I
into a
guess-
salve.
Yeah, into like a salve or in like some sort of liquid suspension. The idea is that there's some
like a douche or an enema.
I almost bought that at the
well, there's like
drugstore,
some
actually.
molecules that have silver in them
Yeah.
that actually do treat infections and disease and stuff like that. Well, they're of course using junk science to say, well, if we just use this colloidal silver,
Oh, yeah.
it'll mimic the same molecule. And,
Yeah.
and
I'm
have
gonna
the
find
same
you the
result.
picture of the colloidal silver
Because if you can kill it in a Petri dish, you can kill it the same way by drinking it.
Well, because we have actual bandages that are impregnated with silver, but they do speed healing and reduce infection.
Yeah.
But they're also fucking expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
But they come from 3M.
And then
Yeah.
there's a guy, or
This guy.
several guy, yeah, that guy, who used too much colloidal silver, and when silver oxidizes,
Oh, yeah.
it turns blue. So it's
Oh, yeah.
oxidized silver, and his whole skin is turned blue.
It's
Because
Papa Smurf.
Yeah, it looks like Papa Smurf. I think he's dead.
Yeah. So it replaces vaccines. So homeopathic.
Yeah, he died. When did he die? Just a second.
Yeah.
This is very. This is
very important.
This is very
we have
important.
to get this.
I need to know when Blue Guy died.
Oh, blue guy, you will be forever
Do you think the
remembered.
entire Blue Man group were taking that colloidal silver?
Oh, it was in 2013.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it was
I hope
probably
so.
not death due to colloidal silver. Though.
I don't know. I didn't
'Cause
read that
I
far.
don't believe that's actually. Well, I mean, like
It's-
dose makes
it's
the poison,
dangerous.
but-
If you have a lot of it, but everything's dangerous
But
if you have a
everything
lot of
is.
it.
But I think in like the doses that he was taking, it wouldn't have been considered.
He took enough to turn his whole skin blue. There's
That's
a volume
it's a
there.
cosmetic issue. you
I'll
know?
read further.
It's like hail damage on your car roof. You know, it's a cosmetic issue. It
Heart
doesn't
attack
actually-
and pneumonia.
There you go.
Yeah, so they are replacing vaccines. Now, unfortunately, or I guess, no, definitely unfortunately, anti-vaxxers have started to realize more and more that, oh, maybe we really should take vaccines. So
Good.
over the last few years, anti-vaxxers have been turning back and returning to giving their children vaccines. The problem is that a huge proportion of those going back are choosing homeopathic vaccines.
Which are nothing.
Instead of actual vaccines. And people don't understand how fragile herd immunity is. To break down herd immunity, all you need to have is an estimated 5 to 10% of the population
Don't listen, Leon.
not taking vaccines.
Kid's not old enough to get vaccines yet. Don't
Yeah.
listen to this.
Yeah, so
It's scary.
Here's a dumb question.
Yeah.
Like, what's the solvent for? I don't know if that's the right word.
Hmm?
What's the solvent for a homeopathic vaccine? Like water?
Probably water.
Yeah.
Or alcohol, like a tincture under your tongue.
Yeah.
But that's why I asked. Is if you inject alcohol into your
No,
blood-
they don't inject it.
It's
usually.
sub-Q. It's orally ingested.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, because hey, stomach acid doesn't kill viruses. No.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's not why they
Sure
inject
shit
it.
doesn't kill norovirus.
Yeah, so herd immunity, 90 to 95% of people need to be vaccinated for herd immunity to be foolproof. So you only need 5 to 10% of the population to fuck off from vaccines before herd immunity breaks down.
Please vaccinate your kids.
Yeah, and
Vaccinate your kids.
and these homeopathic vaccines are as useless as taking no vaccines at all. So it's replacing
Or as useless as taking 100 sleeping pills.
Yeah. Secondly, it can kill. Unfortunately, because homeopathic medicines are not tightly regulated as conventional medicine, it can cause actual deaths. Now, conventional medicine still causes a shitload of deaths with defects and mistakes in manufacturing.
So side note, and I know this because again, my industry and not the companies I worked for, because I worked for like major international companies before the current one with 9 people.
Yeah.
And this one's actually legit. I can attest the work I do is actually science. I
yeah.
have to be like this. You have to go by FDA guidelines and prove this. Homeopathic remedies, vitamins, anything called a supplement.
Yeah.
Not regulated.
Yeah.
Not zero regulate. I could like Declan. I could put a bottle out, just be like Declan's Cure All, and just put it on and call it a natural supplement.
Yeah.
I could say it cures everything, and I would be in zero trouble if people bought it and it didn't cure anything.
Yeah.
There's zero enforcement. There's zero regulation. There's zero everything.
And
just to throw that in.
All you need to do is go into a natural health store, and they will have labels on things that this is for cancer, this is for gout, and it's all homeopathic stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with homeopathic mistakes is when they make a mistake, it's more severe. Because with the like cures like philosophy, poisons, toxins, and harmful substances are often used as the active ingredient. And unfortunately, homeopathic products are often chosen to be given to children, pets, and the elderly because they're less harsh. So you have this thing where if there's a fuck up, you're giving super harmful poisons and toxins to the most vulnerable populations out there.
Yep.
And this was seen in August 2010. A mother gives her baby a homeopathic pill, a homeopathic sleeping pill. The baby soon has a seizure and dies within 15 minutes.
Ugh.
This repeats 14 more times in the coming months. So 14 babies had died, and hundreds of babies had brain damage from taking a homeopathic sleeping pill. And this is because the active ingredient in the homeopathic teething pill was Atropa belladonna, aka deadly nightshade.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before.
Yeah, so so 14 babies were poisoned and died from deadly nightshade poisoning.
Makes me so mad.
Because of a fuck up at the homeopathy factory.
Ugh.
When Blaine Talbot was teething and in pain, his mom Karina bought Highland homeopathic teething tablets. They said natural on the label, so she thought they were safe. But then she noticed an alarming change in her baby boy. He started having seizures.
It scared me to death.
The seizures stopped when the tablets ran out, and Blaine is now a healthy 4-year-old. But the teething product later recalled by the FDA for harmful levels of belladonna, a plant-based poison, now linked to the deaths of 10 children and injuring 400 more. The company says there is no scientific link between seizures and their product. Now the FDA planning to crack down on the safety of many homeopathic products, a $3 billion industry that's never been regulated.
They think they're taking an active ingredient that is going to benefit them, and that's where the scam is. That's where the snake oil part of this is.
The FDA plans to target high-risk products first, ones given by injection, used by children and the elderly, and marketed for cancer, heart disease, opioid, and alcohol addictions. Natural product advocates are pushing back. Homeopathic products have been used safely since the 1700s, and we're sure the agency will factor that into any regulatory decisions. The FDA will take input on their new approach for 90 days. Katie Beck, NBC News, Atlanta.
And number 4, the harm that is seen in many people's lives are it delays or replaces science-based medicine.
Yeah.
So if people get really sick, sometimes they will take homeopathy and hold off going to the doctor. So it eliminates early diagnosis of diseases. And when they actually have a disease, sometimes they put off getting treatment for it. So it prevents treatment of the disease.
Well, I'm taking a homeopathic medicine that my homeopathic practitioner recommended that I take, so I'm clearly taking care of the problem.
Yeah. The world is pretty much in agreement about homeopathy. That
it's bad.
Yeah, like most of the science-based organizations around the world have put statements out there to say that homeopathy is not to be relied upon. And this sounds a lot like the argument from authority, but it's only an argument from authority if the sources you come from aren't reliable.
Right.
Yeah, so I would like to pass the paper around, and these are statements: Canada, Sweden, Poland, Spain, and the UK.
I think I read the Australia one already. These products are not supported by scientific evidence. Love Health Canada.
Oh yeah, short and sweet.
Yep. They're basically just like, no.
The incorporation of what the fuck is that word? Anthroposophical. The incorporation of anthroposophical and homeopathic products in the Swedish Directive on Medicinal Products would run counter to several of the fundamental principles regarding medicinal products and evidence-based medicine.
I love evidence-based medicine so much, you guys.
Me too.
I'm so shocked when I hear like science-based and evidence-based medicine. What the fuck is the alternative? Like, like
stupid-based medicine. It's stupid.
Yeah, like
it's dumb and I hate it.
You know what we call alternative medicine that works? We
Medicine?
call it medicine.
Yeah. Nature wants 5 of your 7 kids dead and you dead at 30. So
Yeah.
everything else is brought to you by science.
Exactly.
There is a constant increase in the quality of evidence and conviction of the scientific community in medicine that homeopathy should be treated as one of the unscientific methods of so-called alternative medicine, in quotation marks, which proposes worthless products without scientific proven efficacy. And for listeners who don't know, efficacy is just like the notion that you have to prove that my drug does X.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what efficacy means. I deal with that at work all the time. And that's from the Polish National Medical
Nice.
Council.
Polish, just like being blunt. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Fuck you. You sell bullshit. Get out of my country.
Yep.
Yeah.
And from the Ministry of Health in Spain, we've got homeopathy has not definitively proven its efficacy in any specific indication or clinical situation.
Yeah. So basically, like, no. Everyone's like, no. Sorry, no. This is stupid and wrong and bad.
Yeah. And from the National Health Service in the UK, there is no good quality evidence that homeopathy is an effective as a treatment for any health condition. Homeopathic remedies perform no better than placebos, and the principles on which homeopathy is based are scientifically implausible. Yeah.
Implausible.
I love the fact they just came right out with implausible.
Yeah.
This is scientific bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't buy it.
Now,
do you have statistics? You were talking earlier about screw-ups at the homeopathy manufacturing. Where you
with the belladonna?
Yeah. Do you have statistics on how many pills, or like one out of how many pills are kind of like fucked up that way?
It was like a whole batch that were fucked up. Like there's a whole thing
So it's
about it.
gotta be
Like,
like a whole
it was
batch.
while my kid was a
Because
little
I'm just
baby.
saying, you ate like 100 of them, and if one of those happened to be the statistic winner, I guess, of that homeopathy lottery.
Think of it more like, you ever see those like ads that are like, hey, not HealthCan, like ever see those ads? It's like, hey, Loblaws is recalling all their PC brand chicken for Listeria, something like that. It's very similar to that, where there was a mistake at the manufacturing end, and then they know the way manufacturing works, even without drugs. I'm in the drug field, but even outside drugs, it's like, this lot number of this went through on this day, and then they look back and they're like, oh shit, this day we didn't clean it, so it's probably Listeria on it. We have to call everything back.
Yeah.
So, something similar to that, where it's like, this batch got fucked up.
But it's drugs for babies.
Now, I didn't want to come on here and read abstracts from papers, because I wanted to make it a little more interesting than that.
I love doing that, man. You should have got me to do that. Fuck.
Oh, I know. But what I will do is, the week that this episode goes out, I will be posting links to scientific articles and scientific research papers all week long.
Nice.
Some of the proofs along these articles that will be in the show notes is that homeopaths design experiments that cannot produce reliable results, because they often copy the same procedures that the first homeopath did.
In like 1380 whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. I wasn't listening.
It was 17 something. Yeah, so.
Whatever.
The second class of papers I'm gonna put up will show that clinical trials show nothing beyond the placebo effect. So the clinical trials that have been done show nothing beyond placebo.
Mm-hmm.
The third class of articles I'm going to post show that succussion or potentiation.
Potentiation?
Yeah, they have a bunch of words for it. That's when they shake the water to give it memory.
Oh, I was like, that's not a word.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different studies where
Still not a word.
they break down the water into like millionths of a mole, and they try to find any active substance. Did I do that? Is that a correct way to say?
You're using all those words correctly, but the science behind it, of which I know that you do not agree with, is total bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
But a mole is a unit of measurement, like 100 or 1,000.
Okay.
A mole is a unit. So one millionth of a mole is actually an accurate term to say.
Which is a very small amount of something.
It's extremely small. There's the mole was created basically, there's in 1 cubic centimeter of carbon, so graphite.
Yeah.
There is 1 mole of carbon molecules in 1 cubic centimeter, which is 1 milliliter, which is 1 gram.
Oh, geez.
So that's how the standards was made across.
Yeah. So these studies and these I guess chemists and engineers, they analyzed water that had been succused or potentialized, and they found that they couldn't find any active ingredient down to a millionth of a mole.
I'll let you know right now, 1 millionth of a mole is a fucking giant amount for analytical chemists.
Oh, yeah.
If it's on a millionth of a mole scale, I could detect that in my sleep.
Oh,
and I'm a professional analytical chemist. I could do that in my fucking sleep.
Mole, I guess, for those who are I guess, wondering, a mole is like 6.02214179 times 10 to the 23rd number of, I guess, atoms.
My
exactly. Number of X.
My chemistry teacher once told me that if you had a mole's worth of apples, they would cover the entire surface of the Earth and make a apple ocean 30 feet deep.
Cool.
Yeah.
What if you had a mole's worth of moles?
They're roughly apple-sized. Except it'd be a lot more.
Think of all the hills that you'd have.
Be a lot more scratchy. The last class of articles that I'm going to post on our social media showing that different homeopathic practitioners give hugely contradictory information. So you go.
You don't say.
So you go to one practitioner, they tell you to take X. You go to another, they tell you to take Y. And is it a real science if different practitioners give you different answers to the same questions?
It's almost like it's not a real thing.
Yeah, it's almost like they're selling us fucking water and sugar, and they're just bullshitting.
It's almost like you took 100 tablets and we've been recording for over an hour.
Yeah, I'm not dead.
And Ood isn't dead.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that. And I've drank like 1.5 beer because Leon gave me his 11% beer, and it's almost like I am drunk, so maybe alcohol.
Yeah, and if anybody's gonna at me on Twitter, don't give me that whole you didn't work because you didn't believe it bullshit. I should be dead. If these are real sleeping pills, I'd be dead.
Yeah, believe science and reality does not give two fucks about your belief.
Isn't that what like Neil Tyson deGrasse said? Like science doesn't care what you believe.
Exactly.
Doesn't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've been Ood Gallifrey,
Thanks,
alive and well.
Oh yeah, very well. Like you're fine.
Yeah. I feel strong, actually.
I was really concerned when you're like, this might be Ood's last episode. At the start, I was like, what the fuck? What's going on, Ood?
What are you doing?
Stopping?
He was announcing his retirement.
I saw
I was like, what?
I saw your eyes get big when I dumped a whole bottle's worth of pills out and started taking them one by one.
Yeah, I was like, well, I didn't know you were taking pills at the time. I just, okay.
And also, thank you so much to Atrophian for this weird-ass delicious beer.
Yes.
Declan's like,
That's what goes through
you
my
got a
head.
phone call. You got a phone call.
Oh.
Hello?
Hi, this is Heidi, the pharmacist, calling back regarding your friend in the Comms Forte.
Yes.
So, how is the friend doing now?
He seems to be okay. I mean, he took, like, there's the bottle of 100 pills. He ate the whole thing. He's walking and talking now, and it was about an hour ago. I'm just not, like, is he going to be okay?
He should be fine. The product has a very large margin of safety, so a child or an adult would need to ingest several bottles all at the same time before you would see any issues. So honestly, we would expect that he should be fine. If you notice anything unusual in your opinion as a friend, then we would recommend that they contact their doctor. But honestly, the product is very, very dilute, has a very large margin of safety.
Okay, so just keep an eye on him. He should be okay?
He should be okay, yes. Side effects are not expected. You can give him a little bit of water to, wash it down, but he should be fine.
Okay.
Very, very dilute.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
He would have to ingest several bottles.
Several bottles.
Challenge
A child.
accepted.
No. Okay, it was a child that should have to ingest several
Leon,
bottles.
am I gonna make it?
Like at that point, how much sugar are you putting in your liver at once? That's my question.
I'm pretty sure that my liver is having a harder time right now.
Are you
than
kidding
Ood's
me?
liver.
That phone call may be the best Occultae Veritatis moment ever.
Yeah, that was a good phone call.
That doesn't have as much sugar as me tearing through a bag of nibs, so it's gonna be okay.
I think we're all going to be okay.
Point. That's a valid point. I love nibs.
Okay.
That's a valid point.
Once again, alive and well, I'm Ood Gallifrey.
Okay, well, I forgot who I am. I'm sorry, man.
I'm Sage Murray.
I'm Leon Filger.
And in the studio with us,
I'm Declan the Wizard, guest star.
And Richard Bigley.
Star. That's a that's a big claim.
He is a chemist. He has more clout than most.
No, I'm not a star. I'm just joking. I'm a guest. I'm a guest of these wonderful people that have made me feel quite at home. It's
Good.
We love you
and I
too,
was just
Declan.
kidding. I'm just a dick. I
know.
You know that.
I know that, but I'm not a star. I would do.
Richard Bigley is Dick.
I am Dick.
But
I'm just a Dick. Richard Bigley is Dick, and we love our guests.
You should have sent a picture of yourself for the penis contest. Or sorry, the genital cosplay contest.
He sent one of Leon.
Oh, right.
He sent my dick.
Oh. Alrighty, our palate cleanser this week is Can't Stop This Feeling. But not the one that you're thinking of. This one is by Stefan Kardenberg. Enjoy. Alrighty, welcome back from the palate cleanser, whatever it was.
It was a delight.
Oh, yes. I'm Mood Gallifrey with the after show.
I'm Sage Murray.
Leon Filger.
Yes. Dodging a door at the moment. So yeah, these are the new patrons for like halfway through October through halfway through November.
Cool.
Yeah, so the new $5 patron is Dan Schroenar.
Dan Schroeder.
Oh, and by the way, the basic thing on all of these, if we pronounce your name wrong, you're allowed to get a free repronunciation, a free thing on another podcast. So just send another email and we'll do that over again.
We will.
Yeah.
And then next we have Lexi. Is that Diamond? That's not how you spell diamond normally. Demon? Diamond? Diamond. Lexi Diamond. That's a pretty name.
I think so.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
$5 patron. Thank you, Lexi. You are rad.
Mm-hmm.
And up next, $5 $5. I'm not even drunk yet. We haven't started drinking. A $5 patron, Bethany Wisnant.
Thanks, Bethany.
Okay.
Wisnant? Fuck yeah. Send us an email, ovfeedback@gmail.com. I'll fix that.
Oh, yes. Next up is another one of our $5 patron is Vivian Bader or Bader.
It's probably Bader.
It's a lot of hard names this time, guys.
She's so bad she has 2 A's. Oh yeah.
Bader. And the
Nambla.
Nambla. Kushravi. Next we have Daniel Kushravi. Cool. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah.
One of the edgelord patrons, $6.66. Sierra and Ferguson.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy.
I almost dropped them.
Yes, and once we get to, I think I have it set at 200 patrons right now, we'll have live streams from the studio where you'll be able to see us dropping papers in all its excitement.
Oh, it'll be an adventure.
Yeah.
Richard Bigley masturbating in the corner.
Oh, yes.
Gross.
Every episode. It helps add a certain fragrance to the room that can't come any other way. Another one of our $6.60
Coming into the Fan by Richard Bigley.
Oh, good. One of our $6.66 patrons, Evan Wyatt. Thank you for signing up.
Thanks, Evan.
Oh, yeah. And one last.
And one last one, $6.66. Randy.
Yeah, Randy, right on.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you guys don't know, this is going to be attached to, I think, the third episode in November. So we're holding a little thing where all the fan suggestions that you guys have sent in and all the dropped poll options from all the previous polls are going back up on a giant poll. And basically the top 6 episodes voted in get made into episodes on January and February. So if you want to be a producer for that, just sign up on Patreon.
Yep.
Except you're hardly a producer because you know how much fucking work Ood does on the show that's producing?
Yeah.
You assholes who just choose a show got shit
And
on
also
him.
us assholes who don't do all the editing and the Ood is the hustler.
Oh, it's good most. If I get a couple tweets from some people like saying they like the show, that's what keeps me going.
Oh, well, we like the show, Ood.
Oh yeah.
And once we get to 100 patrons, Sage Murray is going to spray me in the face with mace.
Yeah.
And it's coming up.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
And I found a private citizen who is willing to hit me with her taser. So
yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you might see me poop my pants. Who knows?
I hope you
Who
do.
knows?
And I will get an OviPod logo tattoo somewhere.
Yeah. And
Not on my face, though, or my hands.
So a tramp stamp.
Yeah, I'd get a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
Hey.
Maybe on the bottom of my foot I might get it.
No, because then it will just fade off.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's enough after show.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye. Garlic!